Okay, hi Rolly. I'm doing this for Rotary. Do you share with us your life before coming to Canada?
Well, I was born in France, Tourcoing, the city, and my mother passed away on TB.
She was French.
She was French, and then I went. My dad went back to Holland and took me. So then I lived in Holland and went to school there. Grew up, and my dad remarried and had a stepmother, which her and I didn't get along. So then my aunt took me and put me on a farm, and I went on the German border and I worked there at 14 till I was, well, actually I was there. Went to agricultural school in the winter and became a full-fledged farmer. Then I wanted to go to Canada, but you had to have a trade, so that was good because they wanted farmers. And I came to Saskatchewan with a German family that were not German, but they were originally, their grandparents were, they came to to Canada also from Russia. And so I was there for 2 years, and from there on I went, my friend went, we were going to go into the bush in Ontario and around Dryden and Kenora. So we came into Kenora and we started farming a bit, bought some cows, and then I worked in a dairy, vacation dairy, and took a job there because we needed some money in order to survive and pay for the cows. And after a bit, we didn't get along anymore. I made contracts with the mill, just to cut wood, and the guy said no, it was too much snow, too cold. So I got cheesed off, and I says, okay, you guys can do what you want, I'm gonna get out. So then I came to Dryden, or actually to Kenora. I was in Kenora, and then I got a job in the mine. Worked in the mine as a battery man, and I worked underground a bit, but I was too small to work underground. You had to be a big bruiser. So then I looked after the mining lamps and stuff like that to keep them in shape, charged them up and dished them out every morning. And then the mine closed, and in the meantime I got married and we came to Dryden because the mine was closed. So then I was in Dryden, and I'm still here now, and I worked my way up from inventory clerk to benefits administrator. Retired people, and I retired from that job in '92, and here I am.
So, and that's when you joined Rotary, right?
In '92,
Okay.
because
And
I didn't have the time to go and to a Rotary because I saw people like Beatty and those fellows, the managers, and he came, always later because their meetings were at noon, always at noon. But at noon you always run over time, so I had to be at work because people were looking for me. They wanted to retire, and they wanted to know something about their benefits. So I couldn't join until I retired in '92 when I was 65.
okay. And what was Rotary like in
It was
'92? How was it different than today?
it was first of all, in those days it was noon meetings, and another thing was that most of the guys had a drink of some scotch and there wasn't as much, what shall I say, red tape, because the Rotary Club, the Rotary as a whole, is getting to be a pretty bureaucracy compared to what it was then. And so that's now it's so many rules and regulations. It's like everything else in this world.
Absolutely. If there was a highlight from your years from 92 till now, what stands out in your memory about Rotary?
When the women joined, we would have had not very many members if it was for men, because we didn't have that many. If you really look back and see how many members are men now, there is no comparison.
Okay.
But we used to do a lot more work. You know, we did all kinds of volunteer work, and some of them we still clean up the highway and we do the fish fry, and that hasn't changed, you know. But the only thing was that the members, now we only have one member or two members that do the fish fry, but in those days we had 4 or 5 or 6 people doing the fish fry.
Was the fish fry one of the ways in which you raised money? Did you do it for the community?
No,
it was just within the club.
That was just for the club.
Oh, okay.
But we had fundraisers and all kinds of things until we got into the bingo. That's about 10 years ago, or 11. And I've been doing it ever since. You take a route and you look after it.
Right.
And so it's hard to get volunteers now.
Yeah. What do you think might be the future of Rotary?
Oh, it's going to be here forever, because it's been there already a long time, and it seems to survive.
Okay.
And it depends on the people. You know, can you get volunteers? And that's the hardest part.
Okay.
But it's when I was Commodore of the ski club, or president of the ski club, everybody volunteered in those days. Now it's hard to get volunteers, because we worked on Fridays already packing the hill.
Uh-huh.
And we had a few people that came out on Friday, and my son was already there. We packed the ski hill on a Friday night with snow machine.
Ah.
And if it snowed in the meantime again, we had the members tow up, and you could only pack down. So you packed the hill. And the same thing when I was the Commodore of the yacht club. It was all volunteer work, and we worked a lot. And we put all the beginning of sheet piling in with the Thunder Bay people that were did the sheet piling in Thunder Bay and looked after it. They were government people, so we got information from them, and we got the sheet piling from there, and this is how the sheet piling started. But otherwise, every spring we had to find the new boards, because they were taken out by the ice, and so it was a lot of work.
Okay. If there was any message you'd like to leave with the club as part of this video, what would it be?
What would it be? I would say don't get carried away with all the red tape.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Because-
Anything else you'd like to mention?
Not really. I've always enjoyed. I was able to go and do all the volunteer work that we did, but I guess my day is kind of ended.
Well, you're
I can't
You-
move too well anymore.
yeah, and so your main reason for now continuing with Rotary is the social aspect. We all
Just see everybody.
yeah.
Did you talk about the bingo stuff and the the
Yeah.
mausoleums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, Rolly, thank you very much.